Nigeria.
Okay, a very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room, live on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Today is Monday, and then today is the 8th day of the first month of year 2023. By the way, the second Monday of the year. I told someone, I said, I'm just going to count 52 weeks this year. I won't count 366 days. By the way, 2024, it's a leap year. So for the celebrant of February 29th, don't worry, you'll have your day for yourself this year. You're welcome to the show. My name is Okoyemi Akinde, and it's my pleasure to have you join us on the show today from 4 to 5:30 p.m. I will always come together to look at issues that have to do with politics, governance, leadership, and then the essential things that we ask from our political office, or would ask from our public office, our public servant, like we'd always choose to call them. The dividends of democracy, as basically defined as the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. A government that allows everyone to get involved, a government that respects everyone's opinion irrespective of your party affiliation, a government that, don't just pay lip service to security, does not pay lip service to infrastructure development, does not pay lip service to health, education, policies basically that allows even the private sector to get into the conversation and make the country better. Once again, you're welcome. This program comes up on the airwaves every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Well, I made some little announcement last week in respect to some changes to some of our politics and current affairs program, and I said from this week I'm just going to show for Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. My colleague Sage Babalola would be on the show for Wednesday. So because we have a new program that is coming on board this week, it's called Midweek Politics. Every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Said Fuad and myself come around to have conversation that has to do with core factor. I'm talking about the issues that we get to discuss, issues that we get to put on the table, political conversations. That's what you get to hear every Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. So Sage will take over the Situation Room from 4 to 5:30, and then we'll come back for Sport Cruise from 6 to 7 p.m. So we're just here to make sure that everybody's opinion matters and everybody's voices is heard, and that's exactly why we decided to engage you the more, make conversations more interactive. We give you platforms to get to talk. And also I talked about Fridays on the show not being open mic like I would always do it. We have a special program now that is an open platform where you get to talk irrespective of what you want to talk about. We listen to you vent, we listen to you express yourself, we listen to you share your thoughts, your opinions, and most especially your questions. So we've got everything all wrapped up for you. It's a new year, and then in our attempts to continue to serve you better, we try to bring in more programs to make you feel good being on radio. You're welcome once again. Well, today in Jos, there was a protest by the Christian Association of Nigeria and other religious body. They staged the peaceful protest today in Jos in respect to the December 25th, December 27th, December 29th killings in Bokos and Barikin Ladi local government of the states. And it's a conversation that had gone on, and even the of the Excellency Mufwan had come out to say that if this is not nipped in the mud as quick as possible, the state could turn to Somalia. Remember the unfortunate story of Somalia as a country. So the fears continue to rage in the mind of the people. There's been talk about social justice. There's been talk about the fact that in the last 22 years that these attacks have been going on, there have not been a serious, arrests by either the sponsors or the attackers. Neither of them or groups of those individuals have been apprehended. So imagine the number of people that have been killed within this space. Our Comrade Steve Aluko joins us on the show today from Jos. Yes, he's in Jos today because he was part of the protest. Yes, from the old airport roundabout, if you know Jos very well, down to the new government house in Little Rayfield. Well, he's going to be talking to us about it. The Christian Association of Nigeria also sent a 10-point demand to the governor in respect to what they're asking for. Comrade Steve Aluko, good evening. Thank you very much and Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us on the show. Happy New Year and Happy New Beginning to all of us. Okay, so you're welcome. Let's get straight up into the crux of the conversation today. On the morning of 25th of December, when the entire world were rejoicing and celebrating and making merry with their friends, with their loved ones, with their families, some communities, about 24 of them, scattered around Bokos and Barikin Ladi local government of Plateau State, were ravaged by yet to be identified assailants, leading to the death of almost 200 people. And within that space, a lot of people had asked questions. One too many. The commissioner is helpless. Like, they've gotten to that point where they will continue to pray to God. And even the governor of the state, His Excellency Governor Caleb Manasseh Mufwang, had also come out to say that the president needs to be proactive, that if things don't get under control, it could turn to Somalia, that the state could turn to Somalia. For a state that is known as the home of peace and tourism, the last 22 years had brought up some devastating level of destruction, killings, lives and properties, and none of these assailants or their sponsors have been apprehended. Comrade Steve Aluko, talk to us about what has gone on in the state in the last few years, what went down on the morning of that Christmas, and where the state is today. Take us through that journey.
First and foremost is to also welcome everybody on board. Happy survivor in Nigeria. And then secondly, to also say that we need to rededicate our life and everything that God has given us back to God. First, prelude to what happened is absence of governance, is misplacement of governance, bad or ill-equipped security architecture, and definitely abdication of responsibility by the state at all levels. In terms of owing to the oath that they took to protect life and property and promote the welfare of the people. So, and then you can add that to failure of foreign policy or foreign relation network that allow miscreants and criminal elements to pervade the society and think that they are something else. And secondly, you can also add to it the absence of justice. The legal framework is poor, it's not totally strengthened. And of course, our security architecture is devastated. It cannot hold again. And if you put all this together, you realize that it's still what we are having. What has happened since 2001 till date is taking 10 steps forward and 100 steps backward. Why did I say so? Different commission of inquiry were set up at federal level, state level, and they make genuine recommendations. Well, unfortunately, all their recommendations were swept under carpet. So it's the emboldening of evil over the years that is catching up with us. At another end, the misuse or misapply of the ecological fund that was meant to make sure that even the forests are adequately protected, or where there are general topography challenge, geographical challenge, that certain mediative architecture is put in place to make sure that people are not made vulnerable. And you take that to one that happened on 25th. Let me see this clear, that all the attacks that have happened on the plateau, there is no issue of rumor. People have had cause, community have had cause to raise security alarm before the date, from 2001 till date. But unfortunately, the response of government at different levels from that 2001 till date is part of what that have created room for this. And then you dovetail into what we are saying first. I love the demand that the Christian group have put before government, because it's not just Christians. If you look at the letters and the spirit of that demand, you see that it covers everybody. And if government is serious to take necessary action, I think that could just be the first step. I'm not saying it is ending in itself, but that should be the minimum benchmark on which we progress if we want to secure life, not just on the plateau, but in Nigeria. Because if you look at the demand, it's not just for plateau. It's talking about also addressing security challenges in other places. And I think if the government is serious, if the government will be totally different from what we've seen from 2001 till date, the presidency have the responsibility to not only occupy office, but to make sure that his office function in terms of protecting life and property. And secondly, the governor must also do his own very best. Where you know your communities are vulnerable, you must be able to use the security vote to take adequate action to midwife the challenges, so that at the end of the day, people are not vulnerable. And I think we have a lot of things to see on this, even from the scriptural perspective. The essence of governance, according to Romans chapter 13, from verses 2 to 6, is to punish evil and not to punish the innocent one. And when government feel that responsibility, I think the legitimacy of that government is in trial. And then if you go to some of the position that some of us have advanced before and is still currently acceptable, either you like it or not, we must go beyond personalizing security issues and security arrangement and logistics. Security in Nigeria, like other crimes, must be to defend and protect the people, especially the most vulnerable one. And that is why we must put in perspective what we are having at international and regional level. There's room for collective responsibility and collective response. The principle of collective use of force and balanced use of force that we have at the United Nations and ECOWAS and other regional bodies, we must not misplace it in Nigeria. And I think the beautiful bride there that we see in architecture of the one that we have in Southwest, I forgot his name.
Amotekun.
Either we like it or not, some of us have told different governments from 2001 till date, under the auspices of the civil society coalition on the plateau and the civil liberties organization, that government must necessarily put in place that regional architecture. And it's part of the demand that the Christian group have put before the government, that they must have a way of also mobilizing resources, both human and material resources, to nip the problem on the plateau and within the North Central region. And the call for North Central Development Commission is not out of place, because in terms of destruction of life and property, displacement of people, internally displacement of people, you surely need a mid-gap that will definitely come in to make sure that people are not permanently placed in displaced camp. And then you also move to the quest for state police. Add to that, we need neighborhood watch, either you like it or not, because we've seen clearly that it work in Borno. Without the civilian JTF, the military wouldn't have achieved what they have achieved thus far. So we've seen it that international level is doable, at the state level is doable, at the local government level is doable. Then you move from that point to having a complementary network, either you like it or not. And one of the demands of that was placed before the government is to release those that were also defending their community. Either you like it or not, Constitution does make provision for self-defense at international level, at national level, and at state level. If government have abdicated its responsibility of not securing people's life, people have the right under Nigerian law to gear up arms to defend themselves. So you must not legitimize arms in the hands of criminals and make it illegitimate in the hands of those that are defending their community. Whatever remains of those communities that we have mentioned from 2001 till date, it was because there was some level of limited resistance. I'm not saying that people should promote cycle of violence, but the issue is that prevent it. And when you cannot prevent it, you must not allow the innocent to be the victim. And I think that we like it or not, we must put in place a regulatory framework where community can organize themselves to fight back criminal elements, where state can organize themselves to fight back criminal elements. It has worked in other states. And who says it cannot work on the plateau in other places? And that is why I say the governor cannot totally exonerate himself. He should be able to put in place this architecture at different community level, different local government level, so that we don't cry over the blood of other citizens of this country. And then, like it or not, we need the people, because the issue of inclusion is a principal concept of democracy. And it's not about voting on the day of election, just going to vote. It means that the scheme of governance, in helping government to apprehend the evil, they also have a role to play. So the concept of inclusive governance, there should be room for inclusive cooperation, investment, and ownership of the process of protecting the most vulnerable in the community. And then technology must come to bear. It must be technologically centered and technologically driven, so that nobody abuse whatever leverage comes to anybody. So if you put all this together, you have technology in place, you have the law frame in place that will make sure that those apprehended are totally punished. Believe in me, adequate analysis and deployment of intelligence will help us to avert some of this. I totally align myself with some of the demand that have been made by the Christian group, because I've seen it that it's not limited to Plateau. They have also called in other places. And if you look at what they are playing, they are also talking about the government should nip the problem of destruction of farmland and cattle rustling. So you can see that it's also taking into the place the interests of the farmers and the interests of the herders. And if we're able to put this in place, it will go a long way. Most importantly, about land grabbing, where people deliberately eliminate people and take over their land. If government cannot defend its own citizens against internal aggression, then why are we going to United Nations or ECOWAS to talk to other countries? So the presidency must bear his charge, the governor must do the one within his limits, and then we must allow functional local government system where people are able to identify who are the criminal elements and so dealt with using the law of the land. And I'm also joining my mouth to say that every other person that is caught defending their society, as long as they don't have criminal record, they should be left off the hook. Otherwise, at the end of the day, the whole North Central will be wiped out. And once they take charge of the North Central, the office, the Aso Rock will not be safe for anybody. Already we see what is happening in Abuja. We see what is happening in Sokoto, in Zamfara, Katsina. And what they have just said is not different from what the current governor of Katsina said of late. That he will not fold his hand and allow anybody coming from anywhere with criminal intention to come and maim his own people. We've seen it that what have happened in other communities, part of what have stemmed the tide is a combination and collective effort of both the formalized security architecture and the informal security architecture. And that's the best right globally. So we must move from just securing the road to Abuja to securing the rural populace, because the fight now have gone to the rural area. And those are the places where they produce most of the goods you eat in Lagos. So if care is not taken, want to fight inflation and want to make sure that there's food security. If we don't fight the criminal element and deal with them, we go nowhere. And let me take another point that they made, the issue of proscription of the group. I totally agree with them. Any group that is found either aiding or abetting this criminal record, and at international level, at regional level, they have been identified as aggressors, they should be proscribed. And apart from the proscribing them, they should be designated as a terrorist group. We cannot be hiding under the banner of unknown government, unknown government, and unknown National Assembly and say that's to create room for criminality. We should be able to take the fight to them in the forest, so that whosoever possesses anybody's land should be dealt with. We must not allow criminal elements to come and displace anybody in Nigeria, no matter what is their religion, no matter what is their tribe or ethnic group. We must not allow it, because if care is not taken, by the time they take over the areas of the North Central, God forbid what happened in Afghanistan take place. After they have demobilized everybody, they now move on the government of the day. And today, you have the Taliban heading everywhere. So we must run away. Because if we don't do it, that is the history that wants to reenact himself in Nigeria. Take over the traditional ruling castle, take over the religious group, and take over the formalized security architecture. And when you see anybody deliberately fighting the security architecture and bringing them to a recipe, it's just a short-term plan. The long-term plan is to make sure that at the end of the day, you exterminate everybody and you impose your own government that will not be friendly to anybody. If the current government at all level are not an extension of Boko Haram, they must be able to stem the tide now so that terrorist groups were proscribed and designated as terrorist group and dealt with in the same capacity. Because there is the essence of governance. Any government that cannot protect its citizens, any government that cannot protect its designated demography or geographical location is not fit to call itself a government.
Comrade Steve Aluko, you've literally just touched every space of this conversation, and it got me asking myself a lot of questions. While you were talking now, you talked about the operation of Amotekun, that's localizing the vigilante system. You also talk about including technologies, intelligence gathering, human inclusion. You talked about all of these things. But the senator representing Delta North Senatorial District, Senator Ned Nwoko, actually raised the need to have a bill that allows Nigerians to carry arms. But he talked about, okay, they would have to do this and do that. It's crucial to emphasize that the initiative need to permit firearm ownership is accompanied by stringent regulations and comprehensive training. But in the face of all of these chaos, you mentioned Sokoto, you mentioned Katsina, you talked about Niger states. In southern Kaduna, there's the Plateau state conversation. Even the Benue issue is not left out. It looks like the entire region is under constant siege. Comrade Steve Aluko, are we ready for that conversation of legalizing gun in the country? Do we really have a society that can function under such legitimacy?
First and foremost is to commend that type of senator that is talking out of, is not waiting until when the Niger Delta goes to flame. For reason, I must commend him. Secondly, I think we must also commend the former governor of Plateau State that is talking about the North Central Development Commission, which even the caucus in the Senate have also subscribed and also supported. But we must move beyond discussion, because either you like it or not, in every action and inaction, it has immediate action, a medium action, and a long-term action. To me, as far as I'm concerned, let governors in different states, they did it in some states, it worked. Let governors in different states identify the flashpoints and make sure that they empower a group that is regulated, that is under command, to make sure that they defend the people. So that it's not that the army will come and I sympathize with the army, because they are overstressed and then they are ill-equipped, and then in most cases the equipment they need to go into some of these mountainous area and to even know the track, they don't have it. So that is why you need a combination of both the formalized and the informal sector, so that we are able to galvanize a lot of things. What do we need to do? Governors in different states have security votes. What you need to do, organize your people at the flashpoint, note the vulnerable point, and make sure that you are able to mobilize a group. And let me say this, either you like it or not, no matter what anybody will say about Akete, it's late now. But you will recall that without his doggedness, we won't have Amotekun. The little that Amotekun is doing in the southwest, you may want to wish it away, but you cannot wish it away. So if a governor will not wait for his people to be exterminated, and you are able to raise up that of security force, we should have it at the local government level, we should have it at the state level, and we should have it at different zonal level, so that at the end of the day, you can tap into what the experience of what we have at the United Nations, at the ECOWAS, and in other bodies, the collective use of force, the balanced use of terror. You are regulating the armed within a framework that doesn't go into other people's hands. It's very, very important. I'm happy that I'm speaking to a person that was once in Jos. At a point, cultism activity was taking over Jos. But the neighborhood intervention have been able to nip it on the board. Either you like it or not, we don't have enough manpower to fight this war. Because the previous APC government that promised they are going to enlist people, deliberately allow the police force and the Inspector General of Police, the former Inspector General of Police, and the Police Serving Commission to have longer hair so that they will not recruit anybody. So if now we have realized that we are having shortfall in that area, so what do? That's what it was done during the Civil War. You bring up people into the army, and moreover, we have a lot of people that you get them, profile them, and make sure that they are not criminal elements. You get them on board. Even while they're on board, you make sure that there's enough supervision to know who bears the arm and who does not bear the arm, so that at the end of the day, you are not also encouraging another militia group. But let me tell you that the policy and the program and the law that is saying that some people must satisfy some condition for it is discriminatory. Because if you look at the condition, it's only the rich that can carry arms. So that means the poor that are vulnerable cannot carry arms. So what we are saying in essence is that there's need to decentralize the security architecture to the point that the interests of every village become to bear. It's not about securing the airport or securing the seaport, and the people are made vulnerable at the rural area. So we must have this adequate security architecture in place that it can function at the local government level, and where it's being overwhelmed, you call on the state, and where the state needs the intervention of the federal troop, you do that. It will go a long way to help us. If we don't do that, it's just a matter of time. I'm not praying, I'm not a prophet of doom. We may have the experience of what what do they call them? People that have taken over government that made even U.S. forces, France forces to run out of that place. Is it in Afghanistan or something like that? So we must run away from that experience. And the best time to do it is now. It's now. Because if the North Central goes on fire, nobody will stay at the National Assembly in Abuja. In fact, even the House of Rock will not be safe. It is the vulnerability of Niger State, Benue State, Plateau State, Kaduna State that is echoing in Abuja. That today nobody is even safe in the suburb area. It's only the Abuja Central that you have some level of sanity, manageable in terms of comparative. But it's a matter of time. If care is not taken, Abuja itself will not be safe for the president and any other person in that government. So the earlier they act now, the better. Before, there's an adage in Yoruba land that if a snake is coming to your house, you don't cut his head. If you enter the house, it will be more delicate. So it is in the interest of those in government at all levels to make sure that machinery to secure life and property is in place. Otherwise, the cycle of violence will continue. And God forbid what happened on the plateau in 2001 that came up like ethnic cleansing and came up like religious cleansing also. If we have that magnitude of war in Nigeria, believe you me, the Nigerians still will not be able to contend with it.
Comrade Steve Aluko, you made mention of inclusion as a principal concept of democracy. Of course, if you look at the basic of the definition, they say it's the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. That means from every level, whether at the local government, at the state level, at the federal level, the people first. Now, I mean, everybody knows that there can't be development in any atmosphere of hostility. So when we talk about pray for peace, work for unity, let's talk about justice in all of these conversations. And I'm going to still go back to Plateau State. The 2001 unfortunate attack, or let me say, unrest in the town, still leaves scar. I was in there for about 7 years. Move around the state, you would still see at that level where they say, oh, this is a Muslim area, this is a Christian area, don't do this here, don't do that here. And down the cycle of violence had continued from Bokos to Mongu to Don community to Barikin Ladi to every single space. How much more beyond arresting and persecuting these people? How much more do we need to face the issue of social justice and inclusiveness? The number of internally displaced people's camps in the plateau is so large that you can even lose count. I mean, there are IDP camps at Angudi bus stop, there's one at Bukuru, there's one in Barikin Ladi, there's one at Haipan, Mongu, just scattered across everywhere. How vital is the issue of justice in all of this, Comrade Steve Aluko?
I'll still go back to the scripture. Psalm 127 says, except the Lord build a house, those that labor in vain, except God also keep the city. Those that watch over the city will always watch in vain. So we must start with God. And that is why God have allowed people at different levels. It's not everybody that will be president. It's not everybody that will be governor or in National Assembly. Those people, privileged few, they are the ones that must make sure that the structure of governance work well to protect people. Because when it fails, it will catch up with people. The issue of social justice, as you have raised it, is very, very fundamental and very, very germane. If we don't want this cycle of violence to continue, we must make the state architecture to take responsibility and act promptly and rightly. And part of it is justice. What is the justice? From 2001 till date, I can tell you that no government have adequately compensated anybody. I can also tell you that when government is saying that they are closing IDP camp, it's mere politics. It's not that they've been able to resettle those people back to their ancestral land. And if you look at the current United Nations Development, World Health, World Organization Development, they are talking about durable settlement. So when you are talking about compensation, it's not just about monetary. It's that you are able to bring that person back to the minimum line of his living that will not reduce him from the life he was living before. No government have done that. I challenge any government that have done it at federal, state, and local government level to tell us the estate they have built for the people. To tell us that the security post is been able to recreate in those sentiments. So these are the issues. So the question of social justice is missing. And once there's a downfall of social justice and you are promoting impunity, and the culture of impunity will continue and it will consume a lot of people. Even criminal elements will hide under the culture of impunity and promote religious bigotry and ethnic jingoes, so that at the end of the day, instead of nipping the problem is generalized. I am saying that from all the panels that were set up by Obasanjo, and then the state government, and then the House of Rep, and then the State Assembly on the plateau, none of them have been able to give any other platform. You cannot take God away from every equation. But beyond that, what they did in Rwanda is a clear example. What led to the fight in Rwanda that led to maiming and destruction of life, some calling some people rat and cockroach, is absence of governance, is absence of social justice, is absence of inclusion. And then when they are able to bring this together, have you not seen the record that Rwanda is making in Africa? The same thing elsewhere. Wherever it's happening down on plateau, it must not be treated as an isolated problem. It's a national problem. And you must be able to resettle people. You may not like the way God fight the civil war, but he brought the concept of reconciliation, resettlement, and integration. And at all crime level, these are the three concepts that anybody that wants to bring social justice must serve to the people. You must be able to reconcile them. You must be able to resettle them. You must be able to reintegrate them to whatever life pattern they want to have, either religious life pattern, tribal life pattern, cultural life pattern, economic life pattern, and the rest. And the government of Nigeria, like they have failed after the Civil War, have also failed to this point. That's why we're having this problem. People are not served with justice, and people feel that they are more emboldened than this thing. Let me give you an example. I was a victim in the Kaduna Sharia crisis. But you cannot run away from the fact that the then governor of Kaduna, McCarthy, unfortunately, Nigeria did not allow their time to vie for presidency. McCarthy came out clear. He identified the flashpoint, and he did not take side with either you are a Muslim or you are a Christian or any group. And within when he was in the office, he was able to nip that problem. If you are a religious leader or ethnic leader and you are promoting violence, they will allow you to disperse your crowd. They will come for you. And because of that, there was relative peace after the Sharia crisis in Kaduna. Why did we not borrow from those types of architecture, security architecture, and make sure that the most vulnerable places are properly manned with both the formal and informal sector, so that at the end of the day, we can have some level of peace to identify the criminal element and deal with them. But one factor you must not also take away is also people embodying criminal element within the divide. Because within the divide, either on Plateau State or any other places, there are places that they call it a non-governance space, where it is the criminal element that determines what goes on in that community, be it really a Christian community or Muslim community. We must not allow that. And that is why the essence of governance, according to that book of Romans chapter 13, is to punish evil, not to embolden evil. And the scripture is clear that where right justice are not speedily dispensed, it will embolden the heart of man to criminality and to do evil. Even God himself punishes evil. That's why he wiped away Sodom and Gomorrah and wiped away the era of Noah, so that the innocent one will not suffer for the guilty. So it is the responsibility of government at whatever level, especially the office of the president, that is the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian forces and have the right to deploy security agents anywhere. It is the responsibility of President Tinubu to make sure that every space in Nigeria is secure and defended, and that every Nigerian citizen that is innocent have the right to live anywhere in Nigeria and to be so protected. Is very, 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 very important. And let me come to Lagos State. And that is why Lagos must not allow people to destroy the history of Lagos, where people, either in government or out of government, we just encourage all sorts of pulling down of structure. These are some of the recipe. God forbid that crisis enter Lagos. The level of destruction in Lagos will be too much. Government in Lagos must also not allow people to destroy Lagos. The history of Lagos is international politics, it's international economy, and that's why the economy of Lagos alone is number 5 in Africa. So Lagos must realize that they should not allow anybody, either for political, economy, or religious reason, to destroy the economy of Lagos. Because indirectly, if the economy of Lagos is destroyed, the economy of the Southwest will be destroyed, and it will affect the economy of this country. So they must wake up and make sure that they follow legitimate means to make sure that every innocent citizen in Lagos is protected and defended. And they must not allow anybody to reshape and retell us the history of Lagos. Lagos history is universal. Lagos history is cosmopolitan, and so it must remain. Let nobody reduce Lagos to what is happening either in Zamfara or Sokoto, or what is happening in the North Central. We must not allow it. Evil must be called evil, and good must be called good.
Thank you very much. Comrade Steve Aluko. Comrade Steve Aluko is the Director General of the Civil Liberty Organizations in Nigeria. He was a member of the National Conference that was held under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja. And he joins the conversation every time we need to bring issues like this on. But now, excuse me, Comrade Steve Aluko. Now let's talk about the security, which is always a key issue. The principal responsibility of every government at every level is the protection of lives and properties of the people. In the light of all of these that is happening, from Benue to Zamfara to Sokoto to Katsina to Plateau to Kaduna, how much of a burden is this responsibility to the government at every level? The governor of Plateau State had come out to say that, hey, we're overwhelmed by all of these issues that are going on. The governor of Kaduna, former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, also, made statements. Even the current governor of the state is also speaking. When former governor of Benue State, Governor Otom, was also in the news, he was talking about the fact that external forces are playing a big role in whatever was going on in Benue. Now on the plateau, there's been narrative of tribal cleansing, there's been narrative of religious religious issues. There's been narrative of resource control. There's just been a lot of issues around this. How much of a burden, Comrade Steve Aluko, is the protection of life and properties of the people on the government?
In fact, let me tell you that it is so burdensome that that's the essence of governance. Any government that cannot protect life is not a government. Any government that cannot protect and protect the welfare of its people, especially the innocent one, against the criminal one, is not a government. Even if you go to the scripture, the book of Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 17 and 18, the day of Nehemiah, they were building the city and they were bearing arm of judgment against the evil one. So anybody that is in government that is not ready to protect his people is not fit to be in government. Why did I say so? Because before you came into office, either as a president or as a senator, House of Rep member, state assembly or governor or local government chairman, you campaigned under a political platform. What did you tell people about security? And when you get to the office, what are you doing about it? We must not allow anybody to make excuse for insecurity. There is a way you can governize your people that you will reduce the level of insecurity. I'm not saying you will totally exterminate it. If you promote inclusive governance and you pick the right candidates, the right people to be your advisors, they will bear some influence in their community. Unless you allow the different structure of governance to operate, the local government is functioning well, the state government is functioning well. Believe you me, some of these problems that have become statewide problems or national problem, the problem that will nip at the local government level when we have functional local government system. And that's why some of us, under the Civil Liberties Organization and other organizations, have been asking for autonomy for the local government. In the days of the autonomy of the local government administration, every Monday they sit to analyze the security situation, and they are able to nip it. And then you must not be given the traditional ruler and giving them monthly allocation when there's no role for them. In the olden days, they have a role to play. So if you are giving them part of our resources, as part of either in some states it's as high as 15%, in some places 13%, 10%, 5%, you should be able to give them responsibility. Part of what McCarthy did that time is that he called all the traditional ruler. If there's problem in your place, I will remove you. And before you know, everybody sent that. And he also introduced the reward system. I think somewhere in Banawa, in Kaduna State, where the traditional ruler made sure that there was no fight. He gave him car and also celebrated him. And I think we must also give a different narrative to all this crisis, where you see a Muslim sheikh protecting the Christian or a pastor protecting the Muslim or the other ethnic group. We should celebrate them. So that at the end of the day, people will know that there's reward for good and not just evil. Even on the plateau, there's a Muslim, an imam that secured over 200 Christians at the dangers of his life. How much have we celebrated him? So as a government, make sure your government structures are functioning well. Make sure that you get your report. Make sure you act on it. And if the federal is not acting, take stand with your people, organize your own security architecture, apprehend the criminal element, and showcase them to the whole world. Until we begin to make sure that blood mobbing does not encourage people, we must be able to punish that act. And where you see that there's a functional system that's working with you, celebrate them. Where we have security personnel that are acting professionally and beautiful, take them up. Let me tell you the axis where we have a crisis now. The former man, forgotten his name, used to work 24 hours a day. And that was why for some time in the Anglo-Jaws, Bokos, Agis, and Barkin Ladi. So government should be able to meet with that type of person. What did you do and it worked? So that you'll be able to leverage on past experience. When that guy was there, you won't see this magnitude of killing. Because he will move around the Christian community. And unfortunately for us, and good enough for us, he's a Muslim. He moves across the Christian, move across the Muslim, and win the confidence of the people. So he has privileged information before any act of insecurity is committed. He's able to act rightly and correctly. And beyond this, the National Assembly should be able to call the top security brass in this country to give account. It's not just about allocating resources to them. They must give good account of every kobo given to them, so that at the end of the day, it will not be them that is sabotaging the process, so that the corruption ethic will continue. It's very, very important.
Comrade Steve
Federal level, state level.
Let me hold your thoughts here real quick. Now, I remember there was a time we had His Eminence, Reverend Dr. Miwazi Dandara joined us on the show. By the way, he's going to be with us in the course of the week also. Man, he raised issue of intelligence gathering, and I want to ask you, because the Commissioner of Information for Plateau State, that's Honorable Musa Ashams, talked about the fact that some of these communities that were attacked actually had letters written to them informing them that these by whoever it was, but that they were coming to attack them, and the attack still went on. Those people were left unprotected. They were killed, they were maimed, they were messed up, their houses were burnt. What does this say about how we act on intelligence gathering? I don't know where we categorize this kind of intelligence, where your assailant informed you ahead that he's coming, and he still came in and he still met you unprotected and did what they had to do. And then the issue of calling for backup. How much does this say about the need for us to reinforce Operation Rainbow, which was one of the promises of Governor Mufwang when he won, and then when he was sworn in, he said he's going to revisit Operation Rainbow, just like we have Amotekun down south. Put all of these questions together: intelligence gathering and domesticating the security network of your state. How vital are these two issues in respect to combating all of the issues going on in the middle belt region of the country?
It's as vital as giving water to a victim in the desert region. Number one is that every security information should be pride and given its priority. From 2001 till date, that's what is missing. People will get information, letters written with dates and when and how the action is going to take place, and nobody is found on the ground. And I think it's very, very important. It's big bountiful of how vulnerable our security architecture is. We should be able to have a security architecture that is not even waiting for letters, or every place is secure. So that you don't have a situation, they write letter, the attack will take place in Bokos, and they run to the Just East to do the attack. What we are saying is that let's have a security architecture that will involve the people, involve the machinery within the community, so that everybody will know that it's a collective responsibility. And when it comes, in fact, let me tell you why today people are still in jobs on the plateau. It's because there's a form of resilience or a form of repelling from the community. Otherwise, many people will have been named and thrown out to the grave. But let's first condemn the act that letters are written, information are circulated, and at the end of the day, we don't have prompt deployment. And that was why I said we need some level of technological involvement, innovation, that will be able to analyze the security report, and then after analysis, do prompt deployment. Part of why there was much loss of life and property in 2001 crisis, and like this other crisis going, is lack of timely, adequate deployment of security forces to tackle the problem. And when at all it comes, they don't know the terrain. So we need to have a localized system of security architecture that if you carry people that know the terrain, people that knows where the people reside, so that at the end of the day, you do the necessary profiling and you are able to nip out the criminal element and the adultery. Let me tell you, I said earlier on about ungoverned space in different communities, not just in Plateau, in other places too. It is when those people become too emboldened that the traditional council or the religious council cannot hold them down. That's where they create that space. So government must be able to identify those spaces where people take substance abuse, alcohol abuse of drug and the rest. Government should be able to know those catchment areas and how to deploy troops, pick them up before they promote some of this crime, especially the forest region. The forest region, the middle belt is forested area, and that's the more reason why we must have an organized system that will go inside those forests and make sure that there is no government pay for any ritualist or any kidnapper to kidnap people and make money out of it. It is because we have not been able to take advantage of our resource, our forest as our resource. And that's why other criminal elements have seized those opportunities and is deploying it against the community. It's not only on the plateau. Every government structure should have a way of tackling those areas. And then you mentioned the issue of mineral resources. It's germane, where you allow criminal elements a license to come and excavate or explore our mineral resources. This is what you get. Believe you me, Okoyemi, the mining sector is also a factor. The Zamfara report is clear. The Katsina report is clear. And the recent shooting mill on the plateau, a great number of them were trapped in the mining pond. So we should be able to ask who were the people that were either driven out of the mining pond or who are the people that want to maximize the area for their selfish interests. And this is why resource democracy must come to bear in democracy, where the resources of every environment is also deployed first and foremost to the advantage of that environment before you think of any other place. This one that you license somebody from Abuja and you don't know the criminal intent and the criminal mind the person is bringing to the community. These are some of the factors. So you cannot rule out that in mining minerals as a factor. Is also germane. We've seen it in the southwest, we've seen it in the northwest, and it's Irileko in the north central. So you put all this together, we need a government that have a system to tame this criminality, not government that be shedding crocodile tears. You make just television appearance and you go to sleep. It's very, very important. And any governor that is shouting in his state also asks him or her, what have you put in place to the benefit? You mentioned Oto. As far as I'm concerned, people like Oto should not be mentioned when we are discussing this issue. Because somebody that didn't pay salary to his worker, and you are arguing about the month, the number of months are short of one, and that. And then you look at the IDP that you have when you are entering the new state. Is it that a government, you cannot on your own creatively create a better space for these people? And even in the IDP center, people are being killed, people are being raped, even the security agents are trading food for sex. And as a governor, you cannot act. So what are we saying in essence? Like part of the demand is that they should make sure that the IDPs are protected. Because many of them are vulnerable. I once been an IDP after my house was born in Kaduna. I know how vulnerable people are. The trauma is there. You don't have access to basic needs of life. And at the end of the day, you see somebody is tormented and in the middle of the night shouting, and people are just running as if they are not Nigerian. So it is the responsibility of government at all levels to secure life and property. And any government that cannot secure life and property should abdicate the office and let people that can protect life take it. And whatsoever anybody can do as a governor or as a local government chairman and as president to exterminate evil, he should be encouraged to do it. And this is why the office of the president cannot excuse himself. We must go beyond all these statement making. Let's see practical action. When you give out the army to go and arrest people, let's see the arrest and that the right people are being arrested, not the innocent people. If they tell you they are in the bush, let's move our military camp into the bush. If we can perform in other countries, why are we waiting until it become another Boko Haram phenomenon before we act? So we must learn from history that our inability to tame Boko Haram using the right sense technology and the right analysis is what is as boomerang in the northeast. We must not allow it in the central. And that is why you can see all shades of criminal in the north central. Niger State is under it, Kogi State is under it, Benue is under it, Nasarawa is under it, and Plateau State. And let's also talk to the governors of these states. If the federal is delaying, why can't they sit and do what the Southwest people did under the leadership of Akeredolu? Akeredolu is gone today, but Amotebo have helped to save some level of life. It's just for government to make sure that they up the template and regulated their performance. So in the long run, if these people have good credentials, who says you cannot take them up to become part of the formalized security architecture? That's what is done in other climes. They look at your service at the community level, and on that basis, you are recommended to join any of the formalized security forces.
Thank you.
So we need both security as overt and covert at all levels. We need it to go out of this scenario.
Thank you very much, Comrade Steve Aluko, for joining us on the show today. And I really want to appreciate that every time we reach out, you're always responding. Comrade Steve Aluko is the Director General of the Civil Liberty Organizations in represented the CLOs and the CSOs and the coalitions of pressure groups at the last national conference in Abuja. Thank you for always speaking out, and thank you for always being the voice when it matters the most. We appreciate you.
My pleasure always. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Okay, you're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the Situation Room. I've been speaking with Comrade Steve Aluko, the Director General of the Civil Liberty Organizations in Nigeria, a coalition of pressure groups, interest groups, and the civil society organizations also. And we've looked at the burden of responsibility that comes with protecting the people as a government. And he's talked to us about a lot of things. I'm seeing loads of your calls already. Well, we need to take a very quick break. I'll take the headline news by 5 o'clock, but also need to pay some quick bills. And when we come back at about 5 minutes past the hour of 5, the Situation Room continues. Then we'll take your calls. I read your messages. Don't forget that we're streaming this program live on all our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, on Instagram at mainland 983 FM, on X, formerly Twitter, mainland 983. Don't forget to keep the conversation going. I will be back on the turn of 5 o'clock. Don't go nowhere.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Wake it up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. President Tinubu suspends Humanitarian Affairs Minister Betta Edu. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Ebonyi governorship election appeal. 10 die in Kwara Road crash. MDCN directs CMDs and MDs to stop doctors from discharging patients during strike. Nigeria Immigration Service launches automated passport application. NUC denounces viral list of fake professors in Nigerian universities. On the foreign scene, senior Hezbollah commander killed in Israeli strike. And in sports, Guinea clips Super Eagles' wings in pre-AFCON game. And that's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
When the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded, it's time to break it open and really stand out. It's here.
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no seasoning cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
The Broadcast Art Institute Supplementary Admissions 2023-2024. Few vacancies exist in the Department of Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology for admission in the 2023-2024 session. If you scored 100 and above in the 2023-2024 UTME, together with 5 relevant credits, but have not gained admission, you can change over to the Broadcast Art Institute Lagos for National Diploma in Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology. The Broadcast Art Institute is accredited by the National Board for Technical Education (NBTE) to offer national diploma programs in broadcast journalism and multimedia technology. You can visit our campus at number 38 Odofin Street, Igbogbo, Ikorodu, Lagos, or call the following numbers: 0806 149 9992 or 0703 713 1166 or 0816 587 1415.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime I cook like this, I dey always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside: ugu, tatashe, shombo, onions. No one I know they put. Now he make my pikin them. They always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see, Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Are you seeking admission into a tertiary institution in Nigeria? Here is a big opportunity for you. The 2022-2023 admission into Èkó City Polytechnic is now open. Available courses are Computer Science, Theatre and Media Arts, Mass Communication, Science Laboratory Technology, Electronics Engineering, Accounting, Banking Operations, Business Administration, Multimedia Technology. Qualified students should have scored 100 and above in the last JAMB exam. Facilities at Èkó City Polytechnic includes well-equipped studio and laboratories, modern classrooms, innovative workshop, recreation space, and fully functional hostels. Our lecturers and tutors combine both academic and industry experience. Full-time and part-time admission forms are available for the 2022-2023 academic session at the campus, Èkó City Polytechnic, Plot 100, Alhaji Onilewura Street, Ikotun Egbe, Lagos State. Èkó City Polytechnic is approved by JAMB, NBTE, and the Federal Ministry of Education. For more information, please call Moses 091 62 54 0610, Wale 091 62 92 7079, Praise 091 62 69 9996, Adelanwa 081 26 58 0784. or visit our website www.ecocity.edu.ng. Eco City Polytechnic, building industry-ready professionals.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Wake it up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Okay, welcome back to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Don't forget, by the turn of 5:30, the full bulletin would come up, and then by 6 o'clock, we switch over to Sport Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Where the Super Eagles of Nigeria lost a friendly match 0-2 to Guinea earlier today as they continue for preparation for the next African Cup of Nations that kicks off in about 6 days' time. Well, we'll talk about more of that by 6 o'clock. Let's get back into the conversation. Before we went on that break, I had the Director General of the Civil Liberty Organizations in Nigeria and also a member of the Civil Society Organizations. I represented the CSOs and the CLOs at the last national conference. Comrade Steve Aluko joined us live from Jos, the capital of Plateau State, and then we looked at the issues that had been on in the state for over 21 years. Well, earlier today, coalition of religious-based interest groups staged a peaceful protest today in Jos, tendering their expectations to the governor, who personally received them in the new Rayfield government house, assuring them that the president and himself would leave no stone unturned in looking for permanent solution to the security challenges in the states and ultimately in the country. It's not just Plateau. There's the Benue, there's Katsina, there's Zamfara, there's Kaduna, there's Niger State. Everybody just seems to have one or two issues they're dealing with. And so we asked ourselves on the show today, the principal responsibility of every government at every level is the protection and lives and properties of the people that voted them into office. But the question again is this: how much of a burden has that been on our government? You look at the crises across all of the states, and you look at how safe, well, let me put it this way, relatively safe do we think the Southwest is. There's the Amotekun, there's the neighborhood watch. It looks like the government at the federal level is bereaved of ideas in respect to how to sort or to settle some of these security challenges. Well, we've spent huge amount of money, billions of dollars, in acquiring, weapons, aircrafts, all of that, just to make sure that Nigeria becomes safe. But it looks like the more we try, the worse it gets. So we actually opened the conversation up today, and Comrade Steve Aluko talked about a lot of things. He talked about the need for social justice. He talked about inclusion as a principal concept of democracy. Everybody must be involved. He talked about that no government or no governor should leave any space ungoverned in their state. The governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Governor Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ talked about the fact that there are a lot of ungoverned spaces in the state. And I'm wondering, you as a governor, in the process of your campaign, you probably visited all of the 17 local governments, or if you happen to be from Lagos or wherever you come from, you must have visited all of the local governments in your state. Did you not know that those spaces are ungoverned? Or perhaps some of the statements you made were mere propagandas and not really campaign promises. And I would always say it, we can build the finest of infrastructures, so we can set up the best medical services, but when the people don't feel safe, businesses will not grow, those infrastructures will not even be useful to anybody. So the government at every level must be absolutely intentional when it comes to fixing the security challenges that we have in this country. Otherwise, we'll just continue to play lip service to these things, and then the country will not make progress. Now it's time for you to join the conversation. 0913-600-0410. Let me take the number again. 0913-600-0410 for your calls, and 0913-600-0430 for your chats on WhatsApp and your text messages. Let me take them. 0913-600-0410. Now it's time for you to join the conversation. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
This is Olaiwola from.
You're welcome, Mr. Olaiwola.
Yeah. You see, when they are talking about the community policing, the security value and loss is important. When the just issue come up, if you go to just today, there is a place they call Jolly Junction, down to the Ambassador Field Hall. That police station had been there before they give birth to me in Bukuru, down to that area they call Akwando. That police station covered the big area and including the marketing of the Bukuru Township. Because the reason why I'm saying this thing, and that place until today, if you go there in the morning, if you go to all those hills, all those stones there, you will see all those bad people smoking, do everything. And the police officer among of them join them smoking, and they know those people are the people that are attacking the city, and they don't even arresting them. When that fight result to uncontrollable, that's where they took us to the Benue State. May God blessing my community rural at that time. You only have information of everybody. And the reason why I did not smoke and I did not know how to drink in that village is that everybody that have a negative character within that society, the king of that land only send their name down and he send their list to the area command in the local government. In the evening, when we are eating together as a family,
they'll come and pick
so
you
in the evening, they'll come and pick you up. If they cannot pick you up when you are eating, they'll come and pick you up in the midnight.
I witnessed that.
Yeah.
I said I witnessed that.
So this is how they control our character. And today, to the grace of God, the benefit that I have from Benue State, and since when I grew up in this state, I've never visited a police station or a prison yard. I'm always going there for evangelical aspect of it. But today, nowadays, see the people that we are working with, 18 children within Ojokoro and the people we are living together here. They are the children that belong to the area group and belong to all this. How can we going to control this kind of element within our society?
Thank you.
The Church of God was no longer effective, and we are switching all these things to the government. What of the community policing? This is starting from the compound and to the community we represent, and to the ward that we represent, and to the local government that we represent before we represent the state. And this is the issue why the governor said that ungoverned area has been too much. But it is when you know that the ungoverned area, how many projects did you take to that ungoverned area to develop that area?
Thank you.
This is the issue here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On Facebook, Chijoke Azu says, your guests, like the people in government, know the problem of insecurity in Nigeria, but to what end? Who bails the cat is the issue. Insecurity would end if the federal government wants to, because I believe these terrorists can't stand the Nigerian armed forces to 3 days onslaught. Let Tinubu ask for and make good use of the list of terrorism sponsors Dubai gave Buhari and start from there. Okwai, the so-called Super Tucano jet are now artifact at the Kano airport after spending so much to procure them. Some people are feeding fat from these killings and they would not allow it to end. God forbid. Chijoke from Isolo, thank you very much. Back to the phone line, 0913-600-0410. You can go on our Facebook page to drop your comment, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Michael from Surulere.
Mr. Michael from Surulere, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think your guest actually did just a discussion, because the major thing about insecurity in this country is the political will, and also the structure of security architecture have to be adjusted or totally reconstructed, because now everything is centralized from policing to military operations and the like. But if we have all those local policing, this will actually eliminate most of the problems that we're actually facing in terms of security. And apart from that, you have not. You are yet to talk about the issue of better hydro and suspension and the like.
Mr. Michael, that's a developing story. You can always trust us here. We'll certainly talk about it. Anything that has to do with accountability in public governance, trust us. Every of our news and current affairs and political shows will give you everything you need to know about them and more. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Opa.
You're welcome.
Comrade Aluko has spoken eloquently, and he's been able to explain to us how he sees it. And he has shown us that he has vast knowledge about what is happening and all of that. But I would just want to talk on a few things based on what he said. The plateau problem seems to have somewhat gone beyond ethnic and religious, and is bringing forth another dimension of mineral banditry, which is somewhat fueling the challenges they are having along the middle belt. And I think that also has shown in Niger State, which is of a bigger place for them to be able to manage. For the police, it's been a bit challenging because by our laws, we still have not been able to pass the bill for the amendment in our constitution for starting, what do we call it, state policing. But however, the Amatekun way has, taken sway, and one way or the other, it has been able to help. But majority of challenges they face is that they also cannot bear arms, but at least they can help with intelligence gathering and all of that. I am not a supporter of allowing even individuals to bear arms, because I believe that what Senator Nedimoko did in that situation was just to play to the gallery. We are still having challenges with basic data. We can't resolve that. It is issues allowing people to carry arms that will be able to monitor and do that. I guess we have to kill them. Then also, we are backing largely Boko and all of them. That terrain is not easy for anybody to access. That place covers about, I think it's 2,700 square meters. That is a 3/4 of Lagos State. For those two local governments, 3/4 of Lagos State. So how much of police, how much of regiment and all that will you put there to forestall all these things? We all know that will not work, but I feel that we need to really call the people around that state need to really call themselves and tell themselves the truth. Let's find a local solution where we are all allowed to air our views and the pains we've had, so that we can nip these things in the bud and be able to live peace. Because it's one part suspecting the other part suspecting this. Any small thing they move here, the other feels this. Any small thing that happens there, the other feels there's a problem happening there. So we must look for a local solution, because carrying guns and all of them will not readily be able to solve this. Because it's really deep amongst people. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, and God bless you too. On Facebook, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Michael says, it's quite unfortunate, but only in Nigeria that you will find the president and governor whose primary responsibility is to secure the lives and properties of the citizens. That when they have failed to carry out this function, they would never tender their resignation. How would they be complaining when they are all not sincere in the fight against these bandits? What have they done with the list of sponsors of Boko Haram that the UAE government gave the immediate past administration? Not until we embark on self-defense that the president and those in authority will find a lasting solution to this. God bless Nigeria. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, I also say God bless you. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
This is John calling from Agege.
I didn't get your name.
I said John calling from Agege.
Okay, John from Agege. Mr. John, you're welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Good job that you're doing there. In the area of insecurity we are talking about in this country, the reason why I call, because in our own town, all this while there's nothing like all this herdsmen of a thing. They are so surprised. I called my brother some 3 days ago, telling me people could not allow people to go to farm. They are commented that they destroying their crop, all those things. Mr. Ogbel, the truth is, let's all say the truth as it is. In 2015, I will not tell you like what I want to tell you like may look at me in propaganda. In 2015, I want to those people, those herdsmen that imported from other countries to come, for them to re-elect and be in power. But they know them. They are the ones terrorizing this country. The government of today, they know the people terrorizing this country. They are just pretending. That is the fact. The painful thing is that killing everything in Nigeria. In my own farm now, people cannot be able to go to farm. Any people that will always live in peace, people go to farm. That is what they always live on. The herdsmen are disturbing them, killing people. I was not just too kind because it did not happen to my family, which I pray will not happen to them. But people are kind, they are all human beings. And God is not happy. This APC come with propaganda, they employ people, sorry to say, they employ people to come and for them to rig election and come into power. And they're killing innocent people. That's why still a president gives speech on the 1st of December. You don't say anything about this thing, you don't visit them. That's sitting down there, not pretending that everything is okay. Because you have your way to manipulate things and get into power. Then, Mr. Ko, don't worry. Things will happen. We'll shock them. And God is not sleeping. All of them will suffer for what they are doing.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. 091-3600-0410. Text messages. This one says, good evening. God bless your guest. He has spoken well. The problem going on in the Middle Belt is basically about people wanting to impose their own religion. Until the people of the states gather and defend themselves, the region will know no peace. Festus from Ikorodu. Thank you very much, Festus. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
hello, good to have you join us on the show today. Mr. Paul, you're welcome.
Yes, I am pleased on that what we have been talking about in 2015 when Buhari was there. I don't know whether it was to now. If you can tell yourself the truth, do you know how many Nigerians have made IGP since 2015 to now? So many things are happening. The killing now is unthinkable and unimaginable. And the worst is that where is Mr. President on this? Because we have been suggesting of safety. That one, in Nigeria is abomination. It's local area. What is the truth? Governors will use it, you know, to get the opposition and so on. Is that why we do not have what? Is that the reason we do not have all these things? The panacea is safety. You have safety, have federal police. When you overwhelm the federal state police, federal will come in. Oh, see, okay, all this killing is not rocket science to nip it in the ball. I don't get it. In fact, where these persons are born to life in their room to life. If this is primary header's flat, they will tell his other header's flat. Hey, they have religious connotation. Hey, all kind of places put it. I don't want to use that word on that. Nobody's seen anything. We move on. President will not actually go and visit the nation of president. He will say, in fact, that place they want this country to go. When we get there, it will be very, very disastrous. So the power today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for joining the conversation. More messages. This one says, am I okay? I didn't get you. Okay, I am Alex. Okay, I'm Alex. I'm texting from Benue. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Your guest spoke well. The issue that we have in the Middle Belt is the fact that there's so much resources and the people are fighting for it. The governors of the regions don't take security seriously because of the monies they are making from security votes. Come to Benue, Boko, everywhere, no development, just issues and crises. Okay, Alex, thank you very much all the way from Benue. Thank you for joining the conversation today. My last call before we call it a day. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Mickey Weze calling from
Mickey Weze. Happy New Year. We've not spoken this year.
In fact, even late last year, I think. I just decided to be listening.
You're welcome back.
Thank you very much. Talking about the problem of insecurity, and then when I hear people talking about, okay, they should legalize arms carrying in Nigeria, I begin to wonder, Because instead of we putting pressure on our leaders to do the right thing, we begin to make excuses for them. We begin to look for solutions that will even create more problems. In a country where crimes are not punished, people do terrible things and go scot-free, and then you want everybody to carry gun in that same country where people don't get justice. You want us to carry gun in that same country. Look at a well-governed country like America. Even to today, they are suffering right now over that
gun control.
Battling with it. So I don't know how we really begin to think of things. I can't understand. Let's not just manage the problem we have right now. Put pressure on our leaders to do the right thing. UAE gave our government 400 and something names of those who are giving nutrients to this insecurity in Nigeria. To today, did our government do anything? There's no sincerity. They don't have any intention of doing anything. They understand why. Because if the right thing is done, they will know all the money they have with now and then. Security. Look at during the days of Goodluck Jonathan. The security would have to do what.
Okay, thank you to my Q. Stay out of trouble and don't forget.
I had a rumor that you were searching for the station to give